the thing that gets lost is the fact that these guys are playing for millions of dollars, and it's not always about some guys don't want new performance. Some guys just want what they have,
Mm.
what they know they can win with. And I gotta imagine, I don't know Scotty very well, but I could see him being the type of player that's like, if you said, "Hey, like this one's gonna go 10 yards further," um, blah 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 blah, and he might go, "Yeah, that's great. I'll try it out." Like he's not gonna jump. He's not gonna jump at it
No,
just to hit it
no.
further. Like he's gonna be like,
A
"Yeah,
real
but
like
yeah,
a very very old old head on young shoulders that they call it,
yeah,
right? And he's but don't get me wrong, he doesn't rest on what he has. He has no like allegiance to his bag and his equipment, because
right,
if he found something, this is where, when you start to get into, even the QI 35/7 wood that he plays more than half the time.
right,
Um, I mean, that was not an easy feat, mate. That was to get him
yeah." How? Yeah, that was a
to
wild. That
get
was a wild thing.
that round his head, that hold on a second here, this could really make the game easier for you, right? I'll tell you that that all started when I flew from Dubai. This is a year ago. I flew from Dubai to Amex. I just, I think Tommy just won. He beat Rory. They played in the that Dubai Invitational,
Yeah,
and then that moved on to and Scott. So Rory and Tommy was set with the new product. They were nice and comfortable. I needed to get to Amex in the desert to continue to work with Scotty to make sure he was comfortable. So that I get there, and me and Scotty do some work on the range. This is driver and just fairway would work, and then we head off onto the golf course to play 9 holes. He's playing with Sam Burns and JT, um, and we're doing work. He's testing the driver, whatever, hitting it great. Um, and we every time we get to like a par five, or we get to a shot off a tee, and JT pulls out his 5 wood, or they pull out one of these high lofted fairway woods, and it's like the ball just starts moon high, and
right.
so Teddy and I would be like, you know, if you used a 5 wood, we would talk about it like a 5 wood in those days. You could hit that shot quite easily, and
Right,
straight away he would pull out his 3 iron, and he'd just hit this moon ball with his 3 iron,
right.
boom, onto the green, and he'd go what like that, and it'd be like,
Yeah,
yeah, like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty and that this is him. So you talk, and this will come out as Scottie Scheffler's career and like takes shape, and really evolves and stuff. He's funny, man. He's got a
yeah,
great personality, mate. A great personality. He's extremely extremely likable inside, like when you in his circles, and it's really good fun on the golf course. But nothing's like he's the CEO. He's the leader of his. He's the boss of his team, and we he trusts us, and the communication and the is very open. So in that situation, now that you can fast forward a whole year now
right.
to Tory Pines, where the rough is just so brutal, and he then walks onto the truck. So that was so the Genesis obviously moved there. So there was Tory Pines, and then the
Right.
Genesis tournament moved to Tory Pines.
That's
So
right.
um, Scotty didn't play in the first Tory Pines event.
Right. Well, no,
Uh,
unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, nobody plays in that one anymore.
I know,
I,
man, what an amazing
it's
golf course.
sad. I know it's
But
sad.
but because of that event, the the chatter and the talk around the tour and the caddies was that you cannot play this golf course without a high lofted fairway wood. You are
Okay.
giving up shots, and Teddy knew this. I mean, and then we'll get into. I know this is turning into a Scotty Scheffler special, but
No, that's what this
but
show's
but
about. Like the guy just wanted. Yeah, this is a Scotty
yeah,
show. This
it's
is
turning
exactly
into
what we're
that,
talking
and
about.
there's a lot of but I can, and I'll say something in a minute here, but Teddy knew this, and so for Scotty to turn up when he turns up to the tournament, he doesn't even go to the range. He just goes straight onto the truck. We go upstairs. We now have a meeting.
Okay.
He goes, I think I need a 5 wood. Teddy's like, yeah, like,
Yeah, game on.
come on,
Yeah.
keep going, keep
Yeah.
talking, keep going. Tell him what you need. Tell him what you need. Um, and I was like, and then then you get into like the details. How far do you want it to go? What do you need it for? Um, what are you going to take out the bag?
Right.
All these things. And this is, and I said to him, great, perfect. 5 wood's going to go too far. Um, and what weight shaft do you want? Because obviously, you play an 80 gram in your 3 wood. Um, do you want the same feels? How can I get this? And then he goes, no, 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 I just, I need a 5 wood. So I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to build you a 5 wood and I'm going to build you a 7 wood. Uh, Now we've got those two options, and I'm going to build you 80 gram and 90 gram because I know that when you get into a 7 wood and you start making these clubs really short, I really like the idea of adding weight to the
Right.
shafts.
Yeah,
That
just give it a little bit more
yeah, and
meatiness to it. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of tipping the shaft any more than a couple of inches, really.
Right.
So that was important to me to have these options, and then as we move from there, um, we go onto the range. 2 shots with the 5 wood. He says, this goes too far. I said, I know.
Okay. Yeah.
That I can put
Yeah.
loft on it, but now as I put loft on it, that face angle is going to shut.
Face
It's
starts
going to go
going this
left.
way.
We're
Yeah.
gone. Try this 7 wood. Now I've got 7 wood, 2 weighted shafts. And if you've ever hit a 7 wood for the first time, there's two things you realize. This thing goes straight. This thing goes high, and
Right.
this thing keeps landing right next to
Like
the previous
this.
the previous ball that I hit.
Right.
And again, it's like you have to do it to actually see it. But there's so many moments that I've had on tour, and there's so many of these clubs in play now where I've you you do your homework, you do your prep, you get your spec right, and you hand the club to the guy, and you just know exactly what this thing's going to do. It's going to,
Right.
it's going to go. It's going to be a 240 yard, I mean 230 yard pitching wedge,
Right.
or whatever, yeah, whatever number you want. So he
I
needed
mean,
it to go.
I mean, really quickly, think about this, AD, really quickly, and I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you keep going. How
Yeah,
many times this year have you and I, either for an article I'm writing or just you and I just bullshitting like this, how many times have we talked about 7 woods and 9 woods this year?
I
Like
mean
multiple
million
times,
times.
multiple times about this guy doing this and this guy doing that. Okay, keep going. But this is I just it just hit me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
so
God,
so so
we've
that's
talked about this all year. Okay, keep going.
fast forward to I think the club was going 3 yards further than his 3 iron. So that again, that was a problem.
Right,
So we squeezed a little bit of loft onto it, and onto the golf course we go. He found himself in the rough. I think so. Could it be? It must be the back nine. Anyways, it's long. There's a long par three down the left side of the property, and the next hole is just a brutal long hole.
that is
Is
11.
that?
Is it
Yeah,
11?
it's back
11.
nine.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, 11.
Um, Hits it into the right rough. Takes his 4 iron, hits it out. It goes about 30 yards. Takes the 7 wood out. Drops another ball in there. Same life. Boom! All of a sudden, ball's in the air. It's gone 180. Like
Sold.
in the bag. Yeah, sold in the
Right,
bag. And then to that point, he still the week before the Byron Nelson. Um, and this is where I want to get into to just something else that I want to say here is we still tweaked the lie angle. So he was still dialing it in as far as up until the week before the week of the Byron Nelson, where he shot 30 under par, whatever it was to
right,
where and that the reason for that is like when Scottie Scheffler tests equipment. So if I fly to Dallas, and we're going to do some equipment work on the range, or we get the truck out there, it's not just me and Scotty. It never is.
Right.
Randy's there, Blake's there,
Ted's there. Yeah.
Teddy's there. You know, so with that lie with getting that 7 wood right with the lie angle, that wasn't me who made that call. That was Randy.
Okay.
Randy said, you know, within 2 shots of hitting this thing, there's something different happening here. This thing needs to be half a degree more upright. Yes, Randy. Boom, on the truck in the hook, bend it. How's that? Perfect.